What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Paizo Friday. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you've got a good weekend ahead of you. And we've got PaizoCon coming up, so things have been really weird around here. Which kind of today gets into the idea of what the show is going to be because of all of these conventions that are coming up and everything that we've got looking forward to. Organized play is going nuts. There's so many things happening right now. And so we thought it'd be really good to get Organized Play Manager Tonya Woldridge up here. We're going to talk about everything Organized Play. We're going to talk about what it is, how it works, how you can get into it if you're interested, how the different versions work between Pathfinder and Starfinder, and hopefully if we can get into how it's going to work with the Pathfinder Playtest that's coming up. A little bit. We'll get into a little bit. But besides that, we've got a lot of stuff to cover for this. And at the end, if there's time, we'd love to do a Q&A. So if you have questions, hold on to those for a little bit, and then we'll get to those after we've had everything we can get from Tonya as far as how this thing works. I think the big thing that we're looking at right now is I think there's a lot of people that are interested in organized play, and I thought, boy, it'd be really good to make sure everybody that might want to get involved in it knows how to do that. So that's the whole idea of why I wanted to get Tonya in here and get things moving. So if you've got questions, hang on to them in a little bit. So without further ado, welcome to Paizo Friday with Tonya Woldridge.
Hello.
So, we might have somebody in there collecting questions too. So sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't.
We will mine what we don't answer here for PaizoCon panels and Gen Con panels. So.
What's in the stein? What is in the stein?
Water.
It's just water. Come
just
on.
today. Usually tea, but today water.
So, speaking of water.
Cheers.
So, let's start off with, first of all, what is the overview of organized play? Like, if somebody is interested or somebody doesn't know about our Paizo Organized Play program, how would you introduce it to them?
Organized Play is the world's largest home game. So it is a set of rules that we've put together. All of our limitations are kind of our home brew that we need to do to allow people from Germany to Australia to New Zealand, here in the United States, anywhere, play our game under the same kind of rules. You can take your character with you and travel and just play a game everywhere you go.
So you can take, you can start, say, at PaizoCon next weekend.
Yep.
Get your character going. Get everything, get all the treasure, everything you've collected from that. And then say, follow us to UK Games Expo, which is the following weekend.
Yep.
You can have that same character, same items that they've collected.
Exactly.
Okay, so then how do you make sure that from one game to the next that it's registered and all of, like, how does that work?
So if you're interested, we give you an organized play number, and that way it'll cover any of the programs, so Starfinder or Pathfinder, and then you put that number on a sheet of paper that your GM will pass around at your table. The GM is responsible for putting it into our reporting system, so we have a digital record.
Okay.
But then we also hand you a piece of paper back called a chronicle sheet that will tell you how much gold you got. It'll give you an experience point. For simplification, we do 3 experiences a level. So it's very consistent. Every 3 experience, you get to go up a level and you get new things.
Okay, all right. So then, and the reason we do that is to make it easier for going from table to table and all of that sort of thing?
And bookkeeping. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then roughly how often does a new adventure come out? If I play one week, say at my friendly local game store, can I come back the next week and there's something new? Or how does that work?
It depends. For those people that have been around since season 0, and we are just now getting ready to do season 10 at Gen Con, so we've got a few years back catalog, but we are producing 2 new scenarios every month.
2 every month?
Yep, so 2 for Starfinder and 2 for Pathfinder. So if you want something every week, you got to play both programs.
And why wouldn't you? So anyway, and like you said, so there's Pathfinder and there's Starfinder. I assume Starfinder, there's not as big of a catalog for OP for Starfinder just yet, but those are still coming out at the same rate that Pathfinder is.
Right.
Okay.
When we started Starfinder Society, it was only 1 a month. because we
Okay.
were on limited resources.
Yeah.
But due to getting some extra people on the team and kind of expanding and the popularity of it, and because all of our viewers out there have written in and said we need more, we were able to expand it to a month now.
Okay, so then if someone's interested,
Mm-hmm.
and this all sounds amazing, so why wouldn't you be interested at this point? What is the best way to get started in this? How does somebody go about figuring out where they can go, and if they even have it in their area?
Well, Paizo.com has a event finder list that will tell you if something is already planned in your area. If you don't, you can go down to your friendly local game store and they'll tell you if they have it already going. And if you don't have that, we can hook you up and have you start a group in your area.
So you could take the initiative and be
Yep.
like, hey, it's not here.
Yep,
I
we
can
can
do
start it.
this, and it kind of becomes part of the community at that point.
Exactly. You need 3 players
Okay,
plus a GM,
okay.
and you can get started.
Can-
We will supply adventures to you for free. So if you're the one doing the organizing, you let your friendly local game store know they've got the adventures, or you can join our venture team of volunteers that runs events worldwide and become a venture agent. And a venture agent gets the scenarios as well.
So then if there's no option, no there's no store, there's nothing like that, I can get in touch. I
Yep.
can register this.
Yep.
Can I go to maybe my local library? Can I do that, or does it have to be in a retail area?
No, it can run anywhere.
Anywhere.
We started, the lodge that I started playing in a few years ago was because my husband went to PaizoCon UK, discovered organized play, brought it back to our house and said, I'd really like to do this, co-opted a coworker, and a coworker, myself and my son, sat down with my husband and played an organized play scenario.
And that was the beginning of...
That was the beginning. And we went from
and then-
my trail.
and then it become CrispyCon at some point?
And then we made CrispyCon,
And there
yep.
it is, yes.
And then we made 2 tables a week at our house, and then 3 tables a week at our house, and then from there 3XP and more cons in the UK, and it just kept growing.
That is amazing. So I like the idea, because there's nothing worse than when you really, and in particular, RPGs have this issue to where you want to play, you're ready to play, but you need people. You have to have a community around you. I like the idea that you can just kind of say, it's not here, so let's make it happen. And then as the support that people will get from Paizo, like you said, it would be, here's the modules, here's all the stuff you need to report, and everything like that. So the buy-in is minimal.
Right, exactly, because, I mean, people will use dimes, washers, candy, a flip mat, you can draw on it, so
Yeah.
you really don't have to have a lot of stuff to sit down and start. Plus, as an extra incentive, the venture officer team will help you get involved. So we've got 878 volunteers worldwide that have been doing this for a while, and they are very happy to share their advice and share, hey, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, maybe it won't work for your area, but here's some thoughts. We've got message boards for them to talk to. They talk through all sorts of social media channels. If you've been on the Facebook Pathfinder Society or Starfinder Society pages, you'll see them chiming in there with answers and bits of information. Some of them have been around since longer than I have in the campaign.
So
they really are great.
It's a whole support network of everything.
exactly.
Okay, so we're moving in order here. So
Okay.
we've got this thing going. I've put together a group. Everything's happening. I'm reporting. I'm
Yep.
getting people coming in. When it comes to the modules that I'm getting, the numbered games that are coming in, you hear talk about seasons and how those are going to be working. So what is the idea of if you start with the first game of the season, right? And then the second one of the month that comes out, does that follow an overarching story, or are they just week to week, there's a different story involved in it?
It depends, and it's evolved a little bit throughout
Okay.
the campaign. The first, if you go back to season 0, season 1, season 2, they were independent storylines. There might have been a 3 or a 4-part arc, but they were pretty much condensed. And then starting in about season 3, you start seeing it has a very Asian feel. A lot of ones went to Tian Sha, which is our in-world representation. You got a lot of almost homages to movies.
Okay.
That kind of Seven Samurai genre movie.
Okay.
So if you like that kind, you want to play season 3. We've had a season that's been looking at demons and the world wound and saving the world from a threat. We've had a year that was focused on the Aspis, but even in those years that had a very heavy overarching theme, maybe 6 to 10 of the adventures in a year would be focused on that theme, and the other 15-ish would be independent storylines. So this last year has been Year of Factions Favor. Factions are a sub-part of the Pathfinder Society they've got different motivations, and whether you do it for money, or you do it for fame, or you do it for goodness, or you do it because you like knowledge, you've got a different subgroup you can fit into. And so this year we've spent a lot of time wrapping up their storylines and some of the things they've been doing for 3, 4, 5 seasons.
Right.
And it never hurts to go backwards and play older stuff if you haven't. But it's kind of nice to stay current with what the new thing is. We really try and balance that lore bit between what is appealing to a long-term player and what they want to know more about, and a brand new person so they can just come in and play, because we don't want to discourage new players. We love new players. Please come play with us.
Come on, join us.
Yes, please.
So if I'm playing an old part, like for an old season, I can still report it. It's still something that's active technically, even though it's old. So that whole catalog is fair game. I can go all the way back and start playing whenever I wanted to, and it's still something that can be an active report on our system.
Exactly. And John and Linda and Michael over in the editorial team that are responsible for developing our scenarios go back and pull data from those older seasons. So every time they look at an NPC or they look at a location or they look and say, hey, we're going to bring this back in, we go back and we look at what's already been done there. And in some cases, what we guessed would happen wasn't what happened. And we've actually changed how we're writing the stories to accommodate what our players are doing in the field and how they're having input into our world.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. I did not know that it went back as like archival at that point.
Yeah.
And then really quick, speaking of the team, let's talk about the rest of the team. You just added somebody new to the team, right?
Absolutely.
So there's you, Tonya.
Yep.
And then we've got John Compton.
Yeah.
And we've got Linda Zayas Palmer.
Yep.
And then the new person,
Michael Sayre.
Yep.
And Thurston Hillman, who is our off-site developer, who is responsible for a lot of our Starfinder Society
Oh, that's
content.
right. Yeah, I forget. It's now split. There's 2 IPs that we're
There are. So, yeah.
And so how... That does bring up a question. So how, if you've got a team and you've got Pathfinder and Starfinder to worry about, how divided is that team? Do you guys still work on things together, or is it more like, I don't know what you're doing, I'm doing this over here?
Oh, no. We are completely integrated.
Okay, all right.
What winds up happening is John is our lead developer, kind of sits over both campaigns and keeps an eye on everything that's going on. He does a lot of continuity. He does a lot of the, hey, this is an idea I have that we want to go forward with. Linda, though, has been taking on more and more of that role, so that he has more time to look at some other far-reaching projects involving the playtest, because that's an entire separate set of planning that we have to deal with.
Oh, right.
So right now, Thirsty and then John do a lot of the development on the Starfinder Society side. Linda and Michael are almost responsible for the development of the Pathfinder Society side, and then we all come together and talk organized play. And so anything that's going to impact both campaigns, anything that might be a, hey, this is a off-the-wall idea, what do you guys think about it? We have some chats that go back and forth that are just pages long of where we're all throwing out ideas and seeing what sticks.
Really?
Yeah.
So just these massive brainstorming sessions that cover both sides.
Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
That's fun.
And that way we're not divided. It's a team, and then we have our specializations where we work in.
And when you do those brainstorm sessions, are you covering an entire season? Or are you saying it starts here and it's going to mid here and it's going to end over here?
I can say that we're well into planning season 11 right now.
Really? All right, well.
And season 2, 3 of Starfinder Society. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're pretty far in advance on this stuff then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Which is good, because then there's no worry about having to shift gears if something collides with another part or anything like that. You're well ahead of that stuff. So you know, well, I know this is going here, so this is okay.
Exactly. And it allows us to have those long-range plans. I mean, it's like anyone, you have a 2-year plan, you have a 4-year plan, you have a 10-year plan. It also allows us to give a lot of lead time to our authors.
Okay.
Because we need to give them time to come up with their ideas and do the writing, and then still bring it in-house, have time to develop it, edit it, lay it out, have it go through the entire process internally before it's ready to publish. So.
Okay. So then let me ask you this. So there was talk about something that the organized play team likes to do. Can you explain what a boon is? First of all, if you're in organized play, you know exactly what a boon is. There's no question there. But for those that don't know, what is a boon?
A boon is a little benefit we give your character. And we have several paths to getting that benefit. The first one that we explored was the convention boons. So if you attended a convention and you played a game, you got a chance at winning this little benefit. And the benefits can range from, here, have a different kind of animal companion that we wouldn't normally allow, or you can play a race that wouldn't be sanctioned usually, to you can replay a scenario. Just here you
Just
go.
replay the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like a redo.
Yeah, have a do-over and have another chronicle sheet.
Okay.
So we have to balance them to make sure that we're not overpowering the campaign when we add them in. We want to make them interesting. We have a couple where if you don't play your character for so long, you get a benefit because some people have so many characters that they're sitting there anyway. So it's just kind of, here, have this paper and forget about your character for a year. Bring them back and we're going to give you a whole bunch of gold or some experience or something else to...
Oh, interesting. Okay. So
yeah.
it's like it's like that email that's like, we miss you, come back. and
Exactly.
blah, blah, blah. Okay, I like that.
We haven't seen your character in a
Yeah,
year. Would
where
you
have
like
you
to play him again?
Yeah. So then, well, how many characters do people usually have?
I
Yeah,
have
they have quite a-
21
my
Pathfinder
goodness.
Society
Come
characters.
on. That's
Just in my
showing
vault.
off at this point.
I can tell you how many have been not played this year, too.
There you go.
That's about 19 of them.
So then, how would somebody get a boon? How does that work?
Well, if you go to a convention, you
Okay.
get your chance. If you go to a friendly local game store that has the regional support program in place, you have a chance at one of their events. If you participate in online gaming at some of their conventions, like Fantasy Ground and some of the play-by-post big involvement, you can get chances there.
Okay.
Sometimes we do promotional boons,
Okay.
and
I know that we actually did really well with Extra Life with our stream, the 25-hour stream we did last year.
Yep.
When the boons came out, we got tons of people that were just given to Extra Life, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was really good.
We have 2 specific boons 3 now with Starfinder Society, but we have them specifically set aside for charity events. So if your event is running a charity component or there's some kind of fundraising available, we will send those to you to have you help have you raise them. There's also a huge charity event at Gen Con every year that we do
really?
a
Okay.
silent auction.
Oh, nice. Okay. And that the boons are a part of that.
They are.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So then, what is another way that somebody might be able to get a boon?
Maybe by watching today, as
I
we have
mean,
one of the
come on.
promotional boons with us.
Come on. So, really quick, can you explain why this started and what this word boon thing is that we're getting ready to do here?
We get a lot of requests in the office for designers and developers to go out into the community and attend conventions or be panelists or get to go on talk shows or do podcasts. Organized play, because of our unique little family, doesn't get that opportunity as much. We go to a lot more conventions than most of the other staffers, but we don't do as much of the media. And so this was kind of our way of saying, well, thank you for bringing us on. We'd love to, share something goody bit with some of the people that play our game. And so we came up with the promotional boon. And so right now, you can have a choice of a Goran or a Skittermander, depending on whether you play Pathfinder Society or Starfinder Society.
Okay.
All you need to do is email organizedplay@paizo.com and put the subject line, Paizo Friday?
Paizo Friday.
Paizo Friday, that is your keyword.
And so then from there, organized play at paizo.com.
Yep.
In the subject line,
Yep.
put Paizo Friday,
Yep.
all one word. From there, what's going to happen?
It will filter into my inbox,
Okay.
and I will collect them. So getting ready to do a world tour for a couple of weeks, let's say mid-June, I will go back into there so that people that are seeing this not live stream can have a chance.
Okay.
And I will randomly count up how many are in there, and we roll a die. We're very egalitarian in this,
There
and
you
whatever
go.
the die number comes up, we count it down in the inbox, and we will send you an email and say you got a boon.
There you go. And let's put a cutoff date because every Wednesday I upload these to YouTube. This will go up in 2 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
So let's put a cutoff date. If today's the 18th.
Let's go 18 June?
Yeah, let's go a month. 18th of June.
18th
so you have
June.
between now and 18th of June to email organizedplay@paizo.com.
Yep.
In the subject line, put Paizo Friday, all one word. And then in the body of it, just give a nice hello to the Organized Play team. Because
you can even say whether you want Goron or Skittermander. Which one's your choice?
Yeah, you might want to do that. That would make it
see
pretty easy.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Skittermander. Everybody knows it's Skittermander. Everybody wants a Skittermander.
I like the Gorons.
I like the Gorons too.
Yeah.
They're pretty badass. Okay, so there's that. So make sure you write down that information. It's kind of important. And the Boons are really fun. So they're a blast. So keep that stuff in mind. Now, when you, okay, so let's get to, for me, the two biggest events that I've attended with Paizo for organized play was, PaizoCon, and I walk into that ballroom, and I'm just blown away. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is massive. It is filled to the brim with Pathfinder and Starfinder and all that kind of stuff. Of course, last year it was mostly Pathfinder because there was no Starfinder at that point.
Right.
And then I got the Gen Con, and Gen Con. You step into the Sagamore Ballroom. First of all, it's gorgeous. It looks so pretty. You've got the banners hanging there, these giant ceilings that are just huge, tables everywhere. It is nuts, I'm telling you. And it is so much fun. So now, when you're going through and you're doing that stuff, see, I like to just walk through and catch little bits of like how people are playing. There was one guy that had like a touch screen set up as opposed to a GM screen. He had a touch screen that he was putting his maps up into and everything like that. And it was amazing. I loved it so much. I think that when it comes to the Sagamore, which is the one that at Gen Con is the Sagamore Ballroom, you get a chance, I got a chance to go up into the rafter, like onto the balcony and look down, and you think it's massive, and then you get up and you look at the amount of people, and it is just mind-bogglingly busy, full of people, rolling dice, slaying fools. It is great. How much work goes into something like that? And how many tables roughly? Let's stick with Gen Con, because I think Gen Con, it's just gorgeous. And if you happen to be at Gen Con, whether you want to play or not, I hope that you come by and at least look at the Sagamore Ballroom and see what we've got going on in there. It's beautiful. How many tables are running in that thing, would you say, at any one time?
165 tables every slot for 10 slots, and 20 tables in the midnight, overnight to 7 a.m. hours.
So, wait, is it goes
24-hour gaming.
24-hour gaming, come on.
24-hour gaming.
So you get your late night pizza.
Yep.
You get your soda, get your coffee.
And then I think we start at 2 a.m. in the morning. We run 2 to 7.
There you go. So it's one of those things that you're going to be able to game no matter when you want to do it. It's going to be going on. So so you've got all these tables, and then you need people to run the tables.
I need people to run the tables. We have successfully found enough volunteers to run every of the big cons that we do. But Gen Con is still shy on volunteers. We still have rooms available for volunteers that come in and help with 7 slots or 8 slots or more. Which they're downtown rooms right across the Sky Bridge to the Sagamore Ballroom. So you can't get better real estate right now in Indy.
It is really cool.
It is.
It is. It really is. So then right now, are we okay on GMs?
No. If you come to Paizo.com and do a search for a call to vol, you will see they will come up. There's 3 of them. One's Origins, one's PaizoCon, and one is Gen Con. And if you click the Gen Con link, it'll give you all the details.
Okay.
What you get for volunteering, from rooms to books. I have set aside some Pathfinder Playtest books.
No way.
For volunteers
that
will sign up late past the cutoff. So there's another added incentive if you didn't sign up for your Playtest book.
I love that.
And you need one. Boons for special limited edition boons for GMing at Gen Con. Down to t-shirts and store credit at Paizo.com. So we really try and say thank you to the volunteers that give their convention to us by giving things back to them.
Right. So then, and I noticed that official Gen Con is in the chat. So, hi Gen Con, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
So we've got Pathfinder going on, Starfinder going on. Will there be the Pathfinder Playtest, I guess, society. What do we?
There will
Okay.
be both society and non-society demos.
Oh, wait, okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting. So we'll be ready to demo both versions of the Pathfinder playtest.
Yes.
And because, as everybody knows, the Pathfinder playtest releases at Gen Con this year,
Yep,
August
exactly.
2nd. This is actually going to be the big scale people can come and play
Yeah,
it now. 'Cause
exactly.
before that, it's been little conventions here and there. A lot of
Yep.
them have been trade conventions, not public conventions.
They're trade conventions or where we have a staffer going to a public convention. So like I go to PaizoCon UK.
Right.
Logan Bonner's going to PaizoCon UK. So both of us are running a sneak peek of Pathfinder Playtest.
Right. Kind of, I remember at Gamma, I think it was, Jason, it was kind of a pruned version of it because we're still working
running-
on it at that point.
We're
know?
running full 5-hour slots of
Oh
it.
my gosh. Okay.
So if you're coming out to PaizoCon UK, you can take a look at their Warhorn site is how they do registrations.
Right.
And they still have tickets available as well.
Oh, great. Okay.
So you can check it out there.
And I know for a fact we both will be at PaizoCon and we both will be at
UK Games
UK
Expo.
Games Expo.
And then Origins is
I
another
will not be
chance.
at Origins,
You don't get good to Origins, but I
unfortunately,
get it. And actually, John Compton and Thurston Hillman will be at Origins
Oh,
as well.
that's going to be a
So
good team.
It'll be.
I got to tell you, and I'm not saying this just because you're the only one in the room right now. Don't tell anybody. But the organized play team is really fun. I like those folks so much. It is a really fun team to hang out with.
Yeah.
Of course, you know Thurston. I mean, he is just a nutball. I like that guy a lot. Compton is like a joke ninja. Like he seems like he's all business, and the next thing you know, he's making jokes, and you're rolling on the floor. He slays you. And Linda, here's the thing: no matter how smart you think you are, right? There's Linda, and she's not even showing off. Like she's just like, yeah, what's going on? And then she'll say something, and you're like, oh, I'm on a different level. I'm making videos on Twitch, and that's all I'm going to be able to do. So she is just it's whip crack smart, like just some really cool people.
Trivia. She was a math major at MIT.
Of course,
Both her
she
and
was.
Mark Seifter.
Oh, Seifter too. Really?
Yes, that's
interesting.
They both came to us from MIT.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
So
it's
now
not
you know
surprising.
the numbers on the design team.
So-
you know who's crunching them.
So what you're saying is I read that correct.
You
They
read that
are
correct.
smart.
She is our quiet in the back, and then she just comes out with something, and we lose it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Those they're cool people.
And Michael, for all he's
And
been here,
I've been so busy.
10 weeks, 11 weeks now, I think.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Really?
He's
Good.
really meshed well with the team and doesn't let us he doesn't cut us any slack.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what you need, right?
Yeah, we invited Adam Daigle into the OP meeting this week for the first time.
did that
He's going
go?
to come to a few of them. And he just sat there and tried not to cry as we're just running commentary around. And he just looked at me later and he's like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But look, you don't need to be crazy to work here.
No, you don't
it
need to,
helps.
but it helps. Exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly.
It's the worst. Okay, so there will be some Pathfinder playtests going on at Gen Con. People will be
Yes.
able to play it. They'll be able to play an idea of what the Pathfinder Playtest Society, for lack of a better way to describe it, and the Pathfinder Playtest, the actual non-society version. Those will all be going on in the Sagamore?
No, so
Okay.
the skinny on that.
What's the skinny,
The
Tonya?
skinny. We have our booth down in the exhibition hall has all of our store pieces in it. It also has an annex on the other side of the aisle that is 9 tables that we have habitually run adventure card game in. Last year, we co-opted those tables to run Starfinder demos. This year, we're co-opting those tables to run a taster session of Pathfinder Playtest. So it is a delve-style event that they'll be able to come up to. We will have the characters, we'll have the dice, we'll have the pens, minis, everything there. You just come on up, sit down at a table, and we'll run this through.
Okay.
And no experience needed. Just
Delve style is in
boom.
they're probably gonna die? Like
no,
the delves at
we
PaizoCon?
actually have changed the delve this year.
Okay,
It's not
all
as
right.
deadly as in past years.
Well, that sounds fun.
Sorry, I've spoilered it a little bit.
I liked the massing of stickers. And
Yeah.
that was so awesome.
Probably next year, because people will have seen
and that's true.
What we're doing, and then we can try and kill them. But
okay, yeah, that's a good point. It's new, so we can't
exactly.
kill them too quick.
We can't kill them too quick. We got to go the slow, painful death.
We're doing it for them,
Always. So that is downstairs in the exhibition hall.
Okay, all right. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. We've got our booth at 301.
Yeah, I believe so.
103? I think it's 103.
Official Gen Con?
Yeah, hey, who might have that map handy? I think it's 103. I think it's 103. And then right next to that, we've got that area that's where it's tables set up. Yep. And that's where the demo is going to be happening.
That's where the demo will be happening. So you can find it there. Now, we tried this with Starfinder, and demand was just crazy. So we've also taken 6 tables of that and put it up in the Sagamore. So you can find it at both places.
Thank you, 103. Okay.
There we go. Yes, appreciated.
Thank you, Kristen. I assume Kristen, maybe?
Derek? Kristen?
Derek, could be? Mary? Okay, so up in the SAG, there will
also have demo tables
for
the Pathfinder playtest.
Nice.
And for some Starfinder. So for those of you that have wanted to try Starfinder and check it out, we'll have, again, same kind of thing, a 1 hour, come in, just taster session to see if you like it.
Okay.
If you like it, we have 5-hour sessions running. We start them 3 times a day, and then the overnight slot.
Right.
That is a full Pathfinder Society playtest adventure. So it's written using the Pathfinder Society rule set.
Okay.
With the playtest version of the game.
Okay.
So.
Oh, and it's converted over? Oh, fun.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
It will give you some credit in Society when we start Pathfinder Society Revamped.
Okay.
Title TBD.
I like it. Let's go with that.
So you will get a chance to, it's a promissory note for this year because we don't really know what the final revised Pathfinder Society is going to look like.
Right.
But we want to say thank you, so there will be some benefit that will carry over.
Okay.
If you play one of those adventures.
It's like the early bird certificate for Star Wars figures when they came out.
Exactly.
They weren't actually ready to go yet. It's like, well, here's this cool box. And then also, are we doing a booth next to the Sagamore by the Skywalk?
Yep.
I assume it, because last year we did that for Starfinder. Are we doing that same thing for the playtest?
We are, and it's playtest only stuff.
Just playtest
Just
only?
playtest stuff.
Just buying or picking up?
No, it's buying too.
Okay.
They'll be able to take payments.
Okay, all right.
And then they will have the stock of the playtest pieces.
Nice.
But if you need a normal flip mat, or you want to pick up some of those cards, or a plush goblin, you got to go down to the main booth.
Okay, all right, I gotcha. So there are 2 places to buy the Pathfinder playtest, just kind of like with Starfinder last year. And then next door, we've got our room where we do our seminars, which I just saw the final schedule yesterday. Because yesterday I was hanging out on Gen Con's feed with Derek and Kristen, and somebody had asked in the chat about the seminars, and I was like, it's really soon, I promise. And then I just got the email after that, and it was like, oh, I think we're ready to go.
It's waiting on me.
Is it?
It's waiting on me. I am spending time this weekend to upload those to the Gen Con site, so that they will have them Monday morning when they come in and can push the buttons to make them go live.
Okay.
So, yeah, we had to wait on some people here to make some final decisions on what was going on before we could get that one up.
With everything, literally all of these conventions happen right at the same time, so it gets really easy to get bogged down on
and they all need their schedules at the exact same time. So people ask me a question, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, let me pull that Excel spreadsheet to make sure I'm giving you the right answer. Because we've got schedules for PaizoCon, Origins, and Gen Con all actively running at this point in time. But other good news is we have pulled the ticket counts from Gen Con to see what tables are full and what tables aren't quite so full, and found out that most of our playtest offerings are sold out.
Hey, all right.
So we're working to reallocate GMs or get new GMs.
Yeah, come on in. Join us.
Yeah, so that we can open up more tickets for those.
Okay.
And we hope to have an answer on that one to send over to Gen Con on Monday as well.
Okay, nice. So I think that with Pathfinder, Starfinder, and then probably not the playtest just yet, but there's the season of, the year of, all of those sorts of things. When does typically a new one start? When if I want to get at the beginning of this year of whatever, when do I want to focus on starting getting into the societies?
For Starfinder Society, it will be Origins. So
Origins
that is
will kick
our
off.
kickoff. It's the first time anyone will see 1-99, the Scoured Stars incident, which is our big multi-table interactive, everyone's playing the same thing, going for the same goals. And then for Pathfinder Society, which includes the Pathfinder Adventure card game, they launch at Gen Con.
Okay.
So we've kind of split them up so that, again, the org play team doesn't have to kill itself trying to do overload of starting a season, because we normally front load a few extra adventures in there.
Okay. So yet another thing we're premiering at Gen Con.
Yep. We like to do that.
We love to do that.
We love to do that. Gen Con also is the premiere of the season interactive special for Pathfinder Society, so 10-00,
yeah.
How Jin Cataclysm, I can talk.
Nailed it.
And we are also doing another, the 899C Solstice Scar, the new version of it, premieres at PaizoCon and is being offered at UK Games Expo and Origins.
Okay.
It will also be offered at Gen Con. So if you haven't gotten to play the Solstice Scar new version, you can see us at Gen Con for that as well.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And the interactives are fun.
Yes,
Like,
we have
they are
one every
crazy.
night. We have one
really?
Thursday night,
Okay.
Friday night, and Saturday night. So
Nice.
yeah.
Can you explain what an interactive is, just really quickly?
Oh yeah, it's when everyone's playing the same adventure, maybe at with a different level character. So we write them from level 1 to level 11, but everyone's working towards a common goal. And we usually have some kind of audio-visual map or depiction that's up on the screens that shows how you're progressing to that goal and how the tables are interacting with each other.
Nice. So it's a rising tide raises all ships as
Exactly.
tables are starting to hit milestones.
Yep.
Everybody's starting to feel the benefits of that. So great. It's really fun to be there watching that. Like, it is really cool. And now we've got the way the seasons are set up. How does that apply to because there's also Adventure Card Game is also
exactly.
organized play. But do you have how does that work with the season? Does it have the same idea?
It does. It
Okay.
does. They were originally tied. The season was tied to the base set that came out. So the first couple were Season of the Shackles, Season of the Righteous with the Wrath of the Righteous box set.
Right.
We did one for Rune Lords and we did one for Mummies. But Mummies, we decided we didn't want to call it Season of the Mummy's Mask because it was kind of bleh.
Yeah.
So we called it Season of Plundered Tombs.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
And it was the first one where the storyline utilized the base set, but changed. And the storyline integrated itself with the Pathfinder Society RPG storyline.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How did that work?
Really well.
Did it?
So
Nice.
if you want to
Okay.
know some secrets that are coming up in the RPG next season, in season 10 of the RPG, we
Okay.
laid the groundwork in season 4 of the ACG.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
And so this year they've been doing Season of Faction's Favor.
Right.
So it
right.
uses the Mummy's Mask base set, but it, again, ties into the RPG, and you'll see some crossover, and you can get benefits to your RPG characters by playing ACG, and benefits for your ACG characters sometimes by playing RPG. So it really is an integrated society. So this next one, which we will announce at PaizoCon,
Yeah.
the new seasons get announced there.
Okay. All
So
right.
no one knows what season 10 is yet, or season 5 for ACG. But we'll let that cat out of the bag at the banquet.
Okay. Which, by the way, speaking of the PaizoCon banquet, I'm working on being able to stream that on right here on this channel that you're watching this on.
Very cool.
Never done it before. I've actually never really streamed anything outside of my safe, protective little bubble of a studio that I've got here. So I think it should work. I think it'll be okay, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, so I will keep everybody posted if that actually ends up working or not. So we will see. I don't know.
That'll be much easier on your thumbs than trying to tweet out everything we were saying.
Gosh, yeah. Last year, I remember I was sitting on the floor in front of the projector, trying to get pictures of all the slides, and just
Yeah.
just typing, and it was a lot. And
It
the
was.
and here's the thing: the pictures look terrible anyway, so there's a lot of kind of a waste of time at the end of it. But we're gonna do better. We're gonna do better.
We're gonna
I'm
do
gonna see
better.
what I can do. So yeah. So anyway, All right, so anything that we haven't covered yet that you were like, oh, we got to cover this thing?
I don't think so.
All right, do we want to take some questions from people?
We can take some questions.
All right, so I'm going to open the floor to the people here. If you typed a question up at the top and I might have missed it, can you just put that question back in there? Okay, so Nitrace, I missed that backpack. If you look through our videos on Twitch, you'll see that I did the Starfinder demo with the Glass Cannon podcast. And Cosmo was running that, and Twitch gave me their backpack with their camera and microphone setup, so I could live stream with this awesome backpack. It was so much fun. I
remember seeing you walk around.
Yeah. When I took it off, it looked like somebody had popped a water balloon on my back. Like it was so hot and heavy, but I loved it. I'm like, as soon as I handed it over back to him, I was like, I want that thing again. I want it back.
He reminded me of the guys in Mockingjay that are they're going through this Hunger Games with the camera. And I'm like, oh, are we going to get off too soon?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I felt like too.
Yeah.
Except instead of Hunger Games, it was the Glass Cannon. Mm-hmm. A little bit different, but still, you know.
I don't know. They could be coming for us.
So we got a question. It seems 99% of all groups are in the U.S. Isn't that an issue for you and your non-U.S. fans? Here in Europe, the apps are way much more famous.
Depends on where in Europe you are, because we've got thriving communities in Germany, in the UK, and in Russia right now. And we are looking to expand. I believe we've got some people in Turkey that are starting things back up. Italy just communicated that they wanted to start up. So we're here to support you. We're investigating ways that we can get some of our documents that you need to know for organized play, like the role-playing guild guides, translated into languages outside of English.
Oh, nice. Okay.
To help with that. So we would like to expand it. Unfortunately, I will tell you, most people's English is much better than any of my foreign languages. So you don't want me trying to translate anything. But we would like to see more expansion and more growth. A lot of it depends on what the group is and what they want to play.
Do we have rough numbers to how many worldwide players we have for Pathfinder Society, Starfinder Society, or organized play in general?
I know the last count that we pulled, and it was before Starfinder really took off, was about 88,000.
88,000, that's amazing.
Players worldwide.
Yeah.
And while a lot of them are in the U.S., we are always getting feedback from other countries saying, hey, I'm interested, what can I do to start? And we will try and support that to the best. We actually have 4 venture captains that are outside of, or 4 venture, I'm letting my mouth move faster than my brain. We have divided the world into regions. So we have regional venture coordinators who help the volunteers coordinate in theirs. And so there's 11 of them. 1 is online, 4 are outside the U.S., and 6 are in the U.S. So we've got 1 in the Asia Pacific region, we've got 1 in Central Europe, we've got 1 that handles kind of Western Europe, the Middle East, and we've got 1 that handles Eastern Europe and Asia. So if you're interested and want to run, I am happy to put you in contact with the closest regional.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they can help you get things going out there.
Let's see. Going on to, are you looking forward to a blank slate and not necessarily having to worry about things like the obligatory Cure Light Wounds wands?
We're looking at a lot of options, and about 2 months ago, right after we announced that we were doing a playtest and a new edition, we went ahead and said that we wanted the society to reflect its players and what they wanted. And we opened up a whole bunch of discussion topics on the Paizo.com forums and asked for feedback. And it was everything from what should Chronicle Sheets look like in the future, to what happens if you GM enough, you get stars after your name. Mm-hmm. And so should those carry over? If so, why or why not?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. What happens with that? Yeah.
And so we don't want to make decisions without asking our players' advice. Yeah. And so we've opened up all these ideas. So right now, the only thing that I can tell you this for sure about Pathfinder Society going into the new edition is that there will be a Pathfinder Society in the new edition.
There you go.
Everything
spoilers.
else is open
Okay.
for discussion at this point.
Yeah, it truly is kind of a playtest. It kind of is
Yeah.
like, well, let's see how it works
Yep.
out. Let's see what you think. Okay.
We use Starfinder Society to test a few things, and
Okay.
they've come back. The Boon slot system has been very popular from Starfinder Society. Instead of handing you a whole bunch of papers, you actually have to choose at the beginning which ones you're going to use.
Oh, it's like equipping it.
Yeah, exactly. You
Interesting.
slot it in, and then you have that available. We introduced an infamy scale. So, yeah, you can go burn the orphanage. That's your right. But if you burn the orphanage, you may gain a little bit of infamy because the people around you are going to know that you sure did this thing.
Right, right.
So we're looking at carrying that over. But we kind of are in that first feedback phase, and we're looking at maybe in July when all of the scenarios are produced for Gen Con and the team can breathe again, going back, and we've been reviewing all the answers, but we've been not putting any commentary in those threads because we really don't want to stifle discussion by having any of the staffers come in and start making comments. So
Right.
the best we go in and say is, yeah, keep talking, we're listening, go, 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 yay. And then in July, we'll kind of parse that into what are the big things people want to see.
Right.
And then we'll kind of narrow the options and put that back out for feedback. So there's about 3 or 4 rounds of feedback we've got planned before we get to what Society 2 is going to look like. So Cure Light wands may not make it through to Society 2. I don't know yet.
Let's see. What thoughts? Where'd it go? Oh, what thoughts do you have on timing and levels of scenarios for the first season of Second Edition?
It will be a lot like Starfinder in that it's weighted to the lower levels and to repeatable content so that we can get people playing.
Knowing that proper Second Edition is like 2 years away.
Yeah.
Like that's a long ways away right now. So it's kind of interesting to try to answer questions
Some
about
of those.
Second Edition. Are we?
Yeah.
Is there a proper name for the Playtest Society thing? Or is
That's
it
just it. We don't know.
Okay.
We're waiting
All
to
right.
hear what the final name is going to be for Pathfinder when it moves out of playtest and
Right.
into actual being, and then we'll model something. But it'll be Pathfinder. Right now, affectionately and internally, it's PFS2.
Okay.
That's kind of our working title for
Yeah.
it.
That sounds good. Fine.
But we do know that season 10 will be higher level content, that we're focusing more on the 5 to 9, 7 to 11 ranges because we want to finish some stories and we want to finish them and let people who have been building their characters there go out with a bang.
Right.
And then we will wait the first to lower end again.
Okay.
So
All right. Let's see. Ancestry boons seem to be one of the most popular but also contentious items in org play. Any sneak peeks at potential ways to handle that in the Pathfinder Second Edition? Pathfinder Society Second Edition. I guess.
we've got a lot of opinions on how to handle the ancestries, but we're kind of waiting to see what the final decision is on which ones will go forward from the playtest into core, and then how the design team is kind of putting together the next batch. So a lot of those answers are dependent on what design decides to do.
Right.
So
Right.
we will respond to that, but we can't really say anything at this point.
Right. Right. Let's see. Plans for scenario tracking, things like knowing what players are running in terms of classes, races, frequency of play, and etc.
There are no internal plans for that because the volunteers community and our player base has done some really nifty trackers out there already. So they put the work in, and I'm very happy to advertise those and point people towards them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Character death and society play. If Raz, if he has a character that went through 6 scenarios, then tragically died, can you replay those scenarios with a new character to get the levels, or can it not gain levels by playing characters in that scenario anymore? Oh, essentially, if you die, is that thing just off the table now?
They're off the table.
Okay.
In this version, at this time, they're off the table.
Okay.
However, if this is your first character, we have something called the Welcome to Society Boon that expands the death criteria range because we don't like to see death. It's the entire team's idea that we want to put you in peril, or excuse me, we want to put your character in peril. We really want you to be safe at the table. But we'd like characters to feel that there's consequences without the pain of, I've just spent all these hours invested in this character and it's gone now. So we've tried to make some boons and some not so final death. One of the other ones too is if you're playing in your friendly local game store, the retail incentive program, and I didn't mean to call it RIP when we were titling it, and it wasn't until later when people put an acronym in that we realized that it was the death program. But it expands, again, it widens the point before you die. It gives you a double con threshold. So if you spend a little bit of money, or if your table spends some money in the store that night, you can invoke this clause and try and bring your character back from fatal
Well, that's
whoopses.
how that works, yes.
Yeah.
Buy those dice. You can always
Yeah.
use more dice.
Exactly.
Let's see. There's a storyline question. Is there a chance we finally get a showdown with Grandmaster Torch in Season 10? Or is that no comment? Or is it...
There is a chance of a lot of things.
There's
in
always a
season
chance of
10.
something.
There's always a chance. We recognize that Grandmaster Torch is one of the most polarizing NPCs we've ever put into the scenarios, and that there's a lot of people out there that either want to hug him or kill him, and that might be a neat thing, but there's a few other NPCs in that same boat that we kind of want to experience as well. So, possible.
Possible. There's a chance of anything.
There's a chance of anything.
Who knows?
There's a phrase I like to use: possible, not probable, or possible, maybe probable. So
I
we'll
like
kind
that.
of leave it
Okay.
at that one.
All right, I like that. Let's see. And yes, I am wearing shorts with my sport coat. That's just what I do every day. It's my uniform.
Yep.
Can't change that. Let's see. I'm not married, but thank you. Since there's not going to be a time jump, as I understand it, will there be a canon explanation for all the level 1 PCs a la Starfinder Society?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
I feel like that was a final answer right there.
Yes.
Yes.
We want. The team has always approached it as a give me a story reason, and I will change anything in the world.
Okay.
But I want it to feel like it's something the characters would live through, not just caveat hammer.
Yeah.
And so that was why when we started talking Starfinder Society and how we were going to bring people in, and they were all level 1s, oh, look, half of them are stuck in this place, and we don't know if they're alive or dead. They're just in this place. And so we will have something similar with the Pathfinder Society.
All right. So there you go. Let's see. Any potential to bring more non-society faction character options, Red Mantis, Aspis, for org play? Adventure's Guide was fun and filled with a lot of flavor, but so many locked options.
It's one of the things we've been experimenting with Starfinder Society is in how we can make our factions seem a little more flexible and a little more accessible. And so we're taking lessons learned from there as we look towards what PFS2 will look like. And we would like to have some more options. We've found the sweet spot is 7 factions. If you get any more than 7, we can't write enough for them to feel relevant. Any less than about 5, and there's not enough options for the players.
Right.
So that's kind of 5 to 7 is where we want to be.
The butter zone.
Right.
Yeah.
And originally they were hard-coded into our reporting system, so we couldn't play around with them a lot. But we've got some wonderful tech developers that have been writing some really neat tools for org play in terms of the reporting system, which allows us to play around more with the scenarios and what we offer.
Right. Okay. Let's see. I do, yes. Oh, Kristen, I'm sorry. You have to wear a uniform now? Well, it's a comfortable, good-looking uniform. You're ready for anything.
It
I
is.
can do a news broadcast, or I can go to the park, and I'm good. Let's see.
And far more comfortable than the blue polos.
Oh, see, that's the thing. When you see us at the conventions, I'm not going to be able to wear the uniform. I have to wear that blue polo.
Yep.
But as soon as that hall closes, though, I'm running back to my hotel room to put the uniform back on. So
no one's going to recognize you in the blue
they
polo.
They don't.
Yeah,
That's my
exactly.
brand. Like
Yeah.
last time when we were at PAX, I saw Faylauer, and he walks over. He's like, "What's up with this? Like, what are you doing? Where's your tie and coat?"
Yeah.
I was like, "It's work. I can't help it." So anyway, that's a dumb personal story. Sorry. Let's see. Playtest for everyone except. Oh, that's an Androids and Aliens reference, I think, which they've been killing it. Have you been hearing Into the Glass Cannon? They started doing Starfinder.
No.
They're like 5 episodes deep somewhere in there, and oh my gosh, they are killing it. It is so funny. It's a really good show. So let's see. Do you have? Oh, that's a good question. Do you have a favorite season of Pathfinder? Or I guess, well, no, it doesn't. We only have one season. What's your favorite Pathfinder Society season?
I have to say it's season 9, but it's because I've gotten to put myself into the storyline and affect it. As a player, I really enjoyed season 3 and the lead up to the Ruby Phoenix tournament and the whole preparation for going into Varizia. That was my... I have an Asian studies degree, so anything that affects that kind of world for me, anything set in Tian Sha, I'm all... I've once said I would never write a scenario until they started talking about maybe we should put more in Tian, and I'm like, if you do...
Yeah, oh, that's awesome.
I might actually break I won't write for that one, because...
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite location in Galarian is the whole Tian Sha world, and I wish we could go up there and do more up there, and I would love to set another season up there. But from a working on it standpoint, I got here when season 7 was already planned, and season 8 I was still feeling my toes in the water when they were pitching that one. So it was kind of like, well, yeah, that's reasonable. Sure, sounds good. Season 9 was I came to the team and said, hey, I really would like to do this.
Right.
What can we do to make this happen? Yeah. And
That's
so
awesome.
John went back, and John kind of does this, let me think, and he'll pace around for a while, and then he'll go outside and walk in the sun for a while.
So see that all the
and then
time.
He comes back and he's jotting notes on his clipboard all the time, because he never goes anywhere without his red pen and his notepad.
Why would you?
And then he'll come back 2 weeks later, and he goes, I've got an outline for you, and he presents it to the team, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of where we're going, but I want more of this. I want more cowbell. And so, he goes back and he adds more cowbell, and he brings it back and goes, so what about this? And that's how we kind of come to the season broad story arcs. And so this one is the first year I can say really it feels like mine, and you can see my fingerprints on it. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
From working on it, it's my favorite.
And I can't wait till the time you come to me and you're like, we want to put you in one of our seasons. And the answer is yes, right away. You don't even need to ask. Just go ahead and do it. Surprise me. I'd love that.
There you go.
Let's see. Oh, hey, Glass Cannon. How are you? You're welcome. It's a good show. I love that one. Let's see. Streamlined AR update process. So many books, and it's killer to have to wait 3 to 4 months. Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. So what we have is kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, let's pull that curtain back.
When Society started, the person that ran Org Play was the same as the person who ran marketing, was the same who wrote the scenarios or who developed the scenarios by getting freelancers to write them. And they found out that was not possible.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, it was a workload that no one could deal with. And so we went through a couple of iterations of Org Play coordinators that were in that bucket. And then they decided to add a developer position to the Org Play coordinator position. And it freed up a little time, but not really. So then we added a second developer, and then we added a third developer, and another whole society. And now we've added 4 developers and two products. So every time we add development assets, we get a little bit unplugged from the backlog.
Okay.
But the developer's primary mandate is to get the scenarios out on time. So once they're done, then they can turn to other tasks. They can sanction, they can do initial resources, they can do anything else, and then we have to do the planning on top of it. So up until now, we've had the capacity to do scenarios and planning and a little bit of sanctioning in those small hours in between. With Michael coming on board, it kind of turned the faucet on what we could handle.
Right.
And so this week, and I apologize for the document not being there when the blog went up on Wednesday, but we were able to announce we have Strange Eons sanctioned.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I've got 4 more in the hopper.
Oh, wow.
That have been completed and are ready for review or they're in processing stages, because it's not just the OP team that has to work on it, it goes through editing, it goes through layout, it goes through all the other teams, and they all have their own capacities as well. So we're looking at ways that we can streamline processes and take pieces back. But in the case of additional resources, it takes the entire team being able to sit down, have read the book, and then discuss what's in the book.
Right.
We have a group of volunteers that actually reads the book as well and makes recommendations to us on what we should include or not, which can help us make a decision. So if we're kind of split 50-50, that we'll read their report and go, oh, well, they all think this, we're going to go to that.
Right.
Because it works. But then it still has to wait to be formatted, and it has to go up on load, and it has to be put through the updater. There's still so many other pieces to the process that aren't just OP.
But it's nice to know you're not the roadblock. Like, it's like, oh, it's not us though. We're good.
So in a lot of times it has been us as the roadblock, because we just haven't
know.
had the capacity to sit down and do that. But with Michael on the team, we found our time being more available. And so we're working to speed that piece up, and we're working on technology solutions that take out some of the other roadblocks that we've found.
Right.
So my goal is, because Starfinder sanctioning has been much better, that and additional resources go up much. Need a process analyst? Yes. But we've done better with Starfinder because they didn't have the huge backlog.
Right.
And they've not been working at the deficit as long as Pathfinder Society has. So we're hoping that with 2's launch, we'll be able to work at that same Starfinder level where we can get things as they're coming out, if not slightly before.
It's like
so that we don't.
The conveyor belt with chocolates, like Lucy trying
exactly.
to keep up, and then it's like, well, there goes all those chocolates.
Yeah,
right?
because
it's going to take a while now.
We just couldn't.
Yeah,
the pile of chocolate was there. Hopefully now we've got enough people on either side of the conveyor belt that we can eat the chocolate fast enough.
I like chocolate.
I do.
So really quick, let's recap the Boon. Let's recap that process just to make sure everybody gets that. And then from there, I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think that it was a great show. I hope to see everybody at, if not PaizoCon, then I hope to see you at Gen Con. And thanks for Gen Con to joining us. Thanks to Glass Cannon for joining us. Raz was in there, which was great. April's in there again, which is great. Nitrace. There's so many fun people, and I really love how this is starting to gel into a good community, and it's been really positive. So thank you for that. That's why I'm able to keep doing these, is because people keep tuning in.
Yay.
So thank you. Tonya, can you? Oh, go.
Oh, I was going to say, I caught one other question there that I would like to address.
Did I miss a question?
Yeah, because it's actually a kind of big one. Scenario freelancers, how do we get them? We've had various pieces over the years.
Oh, okay.
We've had RPG Superstar, we kind of got our freelancers off of. We've done some open calls. That was another one of those things that kind of didn't have capacity to go through and provide feedback on open calls, so we hadn't opened it up. But we are hoping to do that again here soon.
Right.
Where we solicit a 300-word paragraph on a topic and ask people to send it in. And then we read that, and from there we start going back and forth with either this is really good, yes, or hey, here's some ideas for how you can. The other option that we do look at is there's a lot of third-party publishers out there that need writers for content.
Right.
And Wayfinder is always looking for writers for content.
Hey, there you go.
And that puts you as a published author, which also allows us to read your stuff. And then the only thing we ask you not to do is send us writing samples directly to our email. We can't open them up, unfortunately, because the minute we open them, we have issues on intellectual property.
Yeah.
So you send them to us, and we have to put them in the trash bin of our emails immediately. So watch for other.
To see it,
watch the blogs, because we'll put up contests there, and we watch the writing in those contests, and have reached out to people and hired them off of that as well.
Yeah.
So
follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I almost always am signal boosting what is on the blog.
Yep.
So it'll be there. It'll be on Paizo.com on the community board under the Paizo blog. So yeah, definitely, it will definitely be in there. So let's see. How can they get this? How can they apply to try to get this boon?
They can email organizedplay@paizo.com in the subject line Paizo Friday.
Yes.
And in the body of the email, let me know if you like a Skittermander or a Goron. Don't worry about sending organized play numbers yet. If you are the one selected, I will send you an email back and get your information, including mailing address and organized play number and things like that. But I don't need that for the purpose of the contest.
Let's see. And it's Urgent Sandwiches here, which is also from the Glass Cannon
there you go.
Twitch. So it's good to see you. All right.
I
Anything
don't know
else
that
we
I've
didn't-
seen you in pants in a year.
I have not worn pants since I've worked here.
Well, let me clarify this. I have not seen you in trousers in a year. I do hope you've been wearing your pants.
Oh, are you doing the English version of pants? See, all right. I've seen enough IT crowd. I know what you're talking about. Anyway, well, thank you so much for joining us. Tonya, thank you so much for sitting in for over an hour, being patient and answering my questions.
Anytime.
I hope that you've learned a lot about organized play. I know I did. And if you're interested at all, then hit up the website, talk to your friendly local game store.
Yeah.
If there's still nothing,
Organized
start up
play
your
at
own. Let's do it.
Paizo.com.
Organized play at
emails.
Paizo.com.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope, that's
All right. That's it.
That's it.
Okay,
We're good.
great. Well, for Tonya, for Paizo, for me, your old buddy Dan Tharp, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week.